Kid Creole and the Coconuts are a band from New York who were formed in 1980. Kid Creole is the character who's the front man and singer for the band, and is played by a guy whose actual name is August Darnell. There's another guy called Andy Hernandez, played another character called Quati Mundi, who was his sidekick, but he left after a few albums. The Coconuts in question are the three backing singers and dancers, and they've had some changeover of who those people are. There have been other band members who've come and go, and a brass section. They're still going. They've had lots of change. I think the only person who's still there, who was there originally, is Kid Creole himself. His character wears zoot suits and is quite a colourful, flamboyant character. And their main success was in the 80s. Hi, my name's Dan. If you know this album, or if you're hearing it for the first time and you want to hit me up with a comment, I'd love that. I'm really interested in knowing what other people think. Comments are down there. And also down there, there's this big red button that has the word subscribe on it. If you click on that button, you will be able to join me. It gives you a ticket to ride on my big journey that I'm going on, discovering the best albums in the world. We're only just starting, so now's a great time to hop on board. So this album was the third album by Kid Creole and the Coconuts, and generally most of the world knows it as Tropical Gangsters. In the US, it was released as Wise Guys. So this was going to be a solo album for August Darnell, who's the guy who plays the character of Kid Creole in the band. And it was going to be called Wise Guy, singular. The record company convinced him to do it as Kid Creole and to make it a poppier album than he'd intended, basically because they were short of money and they needed a hit. So he was convinced to do this. He was not necessarily very sure, but on retrospect, looking back, he recognises that it was commercially very successful. It did well, particularly in Australia, Europe, and especially in the UK. In the US, it didn't do so well, but which is maybe a shame. It's a concept album, which is actually a continuation of the concept of the first two albums, so about the band being shipwrecked on an imaginary island. And this particular album is got a focus on meeting unsavoury characters. The music, I would say, is a cross between funky disco and some Latin in there, and some big band jazz kind of ideas, but mostly the core of it is this kind of disco beat, bass lines, and a very kind of disco guitar sound, which is great. It's all pretty much upbeat. It feels tropical and sunny. It's definitely pop. The songs are not deep. There is some content to the songs, which you can pick up as you listen through it. It's a feel-good album, and it does a good job of that. So I would call it a party album, and I quite liked it. And that's it from me for now.